Hi, it's Pastor Andy with our Friday preview, and this week's message is going to be from Romans chapter 7, verses 7 through 12. It's really a continuation from last week. And if you remember last week's message, Paul was talking about the law, and specifically the Mosaic law, Romans chapter 7, verses 1 through 6. And in that passage, we saw that the only way we can find separation from that law is to take on a new husband, and the only way we can do that legally, as Paul would kind of say, would be to put aside the law. Now, when we think about putting aside the law, that's taken on a different meaning in 2020. Obviously, we're now in 2021, but we heard cries to defund the police, and we always hear pleas to to change certain laws because they are not good or they're not helpful. But you know, we it is not fair to say that every police officer is corrupt or problematic in some way. It's certainly not fair to say that every law is problematic in some way. In fact, most laws, all laws are meant to help someone. The question is do they help everyone? Well, the same is true with the law. And by the law, again, I mean the Mosaic law. And really, I'm taking that as a portion of when we say even the New Testament, God's commands, God's laws. And so in this passage this week, again, Romans 7, 7 through 12, Paul addresses that question. Is the law sin? Is the law itself bad? And the answer is no, it's not. In fact, the law is good, but sin has taken it as an accomplice. Sin has used the law for its own purposes rather than the purposes perhaps that God intended it for. So we are going to look at Romans 7, verses 7 through 12, and I'm going to share a little bit of just one example from my life from our trip to Israel several years ago, and how the law fits into that. But I'm also going to look back at Genesis chapter 3 and the first 7 verses there as it relates to Adam, and really how Paul may be using Adam's example, or at least have it in mind as he's talking about this passage this week. So again, Romans chapter 7, verses 7 through 12, considering the goodness of the law, as Paul closes this section, that it is holy, that it is righteous, and that it is good. I'll see you Sunday.